two row office candidates as my ticket mates, and that's Eugene DePasquale, who's running to be your Attorney General, and Malcolm Kenyatta, who is running to be your Auditor General. You've heard a lot about Project 2025, and I can also tell you that the greatest tragedy of the 2016 election was what happened to the Supreme Court. And on page 40 of Project 2025, they start telling you how they are going to dismantle administrative government, and that has already begun, and it's begun in the Supreme Court. This Supreme Court has said that the Securities and Exchange Commission can no longer tell Wall Street to stop screwing over Main Street. Seriously, the Supreme Court has said the National Labor Relations Board can no longer tell corporations to be better to their workers. They've said that the EPA can no longer go to corporations and say, stop contaminating our air, water, and ground. This is real shit. And unfortunately, we have to do something about that. So hopefully we won't have to deal with that after November at the top of the ticket, because we're going to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. But we are going to have to deal with some of these decisions that have already been made. And that means that your row offices just became way more important than they've ever been. Because those decisions are going to come down to the state level, which means all three of us need to be in there, because we're going to have to work together to act like your federal regulatory agencies would have been able to do. So you're going to need an auditor to go in there and find the problems. You're going to need an attorney general that knows the law, and you're going to need a treasurer that writes the checks and understands we are going to have to be meticulous about what we're spending our money on and how and whether we're doing things by the law. So all three of us are going to need your support, and no one of us can do it alone. We need it all as a package deal. You know, Malcolm's opponent, he just stopped doing school audits. He got the job and said, yeah, I'm just not going to do that part of the job. That's what we're dealing with there. Eugene's opponent, now this is our state's prosecutor, refuses to answer a question about how he feels about a woman's right to choose. You need an attorney general that says, come hell or high water, I will never prosecute a woman, a doctor, or a provider for the administration of a safe abortion. End of story, case closed. And then there's my opponent. You know, she denied the election, which I have to say about Malcolm and my opponent, it's very interesting that they said the 2020 election was incorrect because they won in it. So that either means they can't count, which means you shouldn't be an auditor or a treasurer, or they're just lapdogs for the Republican Party. You pick. Either one is disqualifying. You don't need lapdogs for the Republican Party. You need watchdogs for the working people of Pennsylvania. Our state treasurer is falling in line with the war on public sector workers. Now, Joe Biden has been the best I've ever seen on trade policy. He's helped manufacturing, the steel workers in my hometown, because I come from Pennsylvania's other steel city. They love Joe Biden. He's done great for our building trades with infrastructure. But the most vulnerable is your public sector workers. I spent 9 years as a public sector worker, and I can tell you we are all under attack. And how do you do that? You start by going after our funding and our pensions. My opponent in the primary, you may remember, we talked a little bit about her investing in Israeli debt bonds for the war. And I disagreed with that, and it was rather controversial. But I saved the best part for the general, because I knew y'all were going to get me over the line. She signed a deal right after she got elected with Bank of New York Mellon to invest the teacher's pension, the Peaser's pension, into the Tadawal. My friends, that's the Saudi Arabian stock exchange. That is not Zionism or pro-Israel. That's batshit. Completely crazy. I cannot find anybody that does investment for a living, any brokerage firm, from either side of the aisle that has a clue why you would do that. That stock exchange is primarily capitalized by one company, Aramco. Aramco is a $4 trillion company. It is the state-owned oil company of Saudi Arabia, the beneficiary of which is the Crown Prince. You might remember him. He likes to murder and dismember reporters. Yeah, this is who this benefits. So apparently she ran out of oil empires and robber barons here in the United States. BP and Exxon just weren't bad enough. She had to start putting money over in the Saudi Arabian Stock Exchange. My friends, both sides of the aisle think this is absolutely insane. And there's a reason the most recent poll came out, I'm up 8 points, with 12% of that coming from the Republican side,